My Singing Monsters, despite being over 13 years old and counting at this point, is still a game that receives huge updates on a very consistent basis. And we can see here how, throughout all these years of monstering, they have continued to add more content every year. Just in 2025, we got 77 new monsters, with 12 of those being non-variants, 19 if you count the major and minor paranormals separately. We got 6 new islands, with 5 in the main game and 1 in Dawn of Fire for the first time in 9 years with Wanderer Island, and this is some of the most we've seen in 1 year in MSM history. Then 65 new costumes last year, with 9 of them being creator costumes, and a huge update to profile customization, with options allowing for a total of 370 quintillion, 232 quadrillion, 370 trillion unique profiles, without even accounting for display names. And this huge number will only continue to grow, not just as they add more profile customization specific options, but also just with every new monster they add. So, clearly they added a lot last year, which begs the question, what can we expect to see this year in 2026? So here are my predictions for MSM 2026. Now, starting off, the new content tends to come with seasonal events, and so when do I think this year's seasonal events will be? Well, just based off of previous dates from the years before this, I think we will see Crescendo Moon from January 28th to February 9th, Season of Love February 4th through 23rd, Clover Spell March 11th through 23rd, Extravaganza April 1st through 20th, Echoes of Eco April 15th through 27th, Purple Explorer May 13th through 25th, Life Formula June 3rd through 15th, Sky Painting June 24th through July 6th, Summer Song July 15th through August 3rd, Mind Boggle August 5th through 17th, Anniversary September 2nd through October 5th, with the sale starting August 26th to get that extra week of the promotions. Spooktacle August 14th to November 2nd, Beat Hereafter October 28th to November 9th, Feastember November 18th through 30th, and Festival of Yay December 9th through January 4th. And again, these dates are important because most of the new content typically comes at the start of or during a seasonal event, so these will help set some basis for release dates that we can expect. So, to predict what we're going to get, let's take a look at the things that are currently releasing in the game. So, first of all, we have Ethereal Islets and Primordials, and this is probably the biggest thing releasing right now. And based off of the amount of time we've had to wait in between release months before for the Ethereal Islets, I think we're going to end up getting Crystal Islet and Droa on April 1st, which is the start of Extravaganza. And I think this will be perfect because April 1st will be about 6 months from when we got Shadow Islet, which is pretty much the time between Plasma Islet and Mech Islet last year. And plus, coming on April 1st at the start of Extravaganza's Water Island seasonal event. Water Island corresponds to the crystal element for the Ethereals, and I think this would just be perfect. Then Poison Islet and Tunafor, I think we can expect July 29th during the 3rd week of Summer Song. Now, I know that at first this may seem kind of random, and it might also seem a bit short, being only a wait of about 3 months, but I think it'll make a lot of sense as we go on, because it leaves room for related things to release during Anniversary, we'll say, and I think the 3rd week of Summer Song instead of the 1st, that'll make a lot more sense as we go on. So for now, that's my prediction for Poison Islet and Tunafor. And again, Summer Song works in a similar way that Extravaganza works for Crystal Islet, because Earth Island has Summer Song, Earth corresponds to Poison. Next up, Wanderer Monsters. Smoochel, we can expect to see February 4th at the start of Season of Love. Hehehe, I think will release on March 4th, the week before Clover Spell. Blabbit on April 1st at the start of Extravaganza. Trouble on May 6th with the week before Explore. Hula on July 15th with the start of Summer Song, and Anglo on August 12th, the 2nd week of Mind Boggle. And this is because we know that the Wanderer monsters, they will be releasing in a similar fashion to the original Dawn of Fire release of these monsters. And so just looking at when they released last year, that's why I've predicted these release dates for this year. Next up are the Paranormals. Now these The element combinations, mostly just random, what I thought we might be able to see. And it does notably alternate between the triple elements and double elements, because I think it makes sense for it to do that, kind of like how Sanctum did it. And then obviously we will get the quad last. So, I think we will get the Control Ruin Depths Paranormal on January 14th, Ruin Depths February 25th, Control Hoax Depths April 1st, Control Ruin May 13th, Hoax Ruin Depths June 17th, Hoax Depths July 22nd, and Control Hoax Ruin Depths, or the Quad, on September 2nd to kick off Anniversary Month. Now these dates are mainly just to have the paranormals be spread out over the next few months until we get the quad at the start of Anniversary. Next up are legendaries. I do think we will be seeing more legendaries for natural islands, and I think that will start off with an Air Island CG5 legendary on February 4th to begin the Season of Love. And this is the only one that I did specify who I think the collab will be with, just because CG5, we know MSM has done collabs with him in the past, and we have a collab with him on January 14th happening, which isn't too far before Season of Love will begin, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Air Island CG5 Legendary at the start of Season of Love. Then going along with that, I think we will get a Water Island Legendary on April 1st with Extravaganza, and an Earth Island Legendary on July 15th with the start of Summer Song. Next up, we got the Titan Souls. I think the Fairy Titan Soul will release January 28th at the start of the Crescendo Moon, because we've already waited so long since the last Titan Soul. I mean, we got Kruflofty and Crocus in May, which I believe is about 9 months after. No, 7 months after we got Phosphor and Phlox. And 7 months after Crocus would have been in December, so we are a bit overdue if they are trying to space them out evenly. So I definitely think we'll get the Fairy Titan Soul soon, and then we will see this class wrap up during Anniversary Month with the Bone Titan Soul releasing September 9th during the second week of Anniversary, which is about 7-8 months from January. Next up, with the Rare Workshoppers, I think we will see Rare Flask on January 28th at the start of the Crescendo Moon. And notably, I think we will see Rare Piplash next and not Rare Whale. I think they will release with all the triples first and then do all the quads instead of simply doing them in the wave order. But yeah, so I think Rare Piplash will come March 18th with the second week of Clover Spell. Rare Exert will come May 20th with the second week of Perplex Explore. Rare Teeter Totter will release on July 29th with the third week of Summer Song. Rare Whale will release October 14th at the start of Spooktacle, and Rare Pentumber will release December 9th at the start of Festival of Yay. And you can probably see the pattern here, where I think the quads will release with their corresponding natural elements seasonal event, and I think that's how it will go on continuing into 2027. Next up, the Epic Fire Quince. I think we will get Epic Bowhead January 14th, and notably, I think this image included up here, which was a teaser in the More the Merrier promotion, I believe. I think this is what we're going to see Epic Bowhead looking like, being really based off the water element, and I think these Epic Fire Quince are just going to be really extremes of the element that they represent, like we see how Candelabra super fiery. So I think Epic Bowhead will be January 14th, Epic Dromedary February 11th during the second week of Season of Love, Epic Tuskski March 11th at the start of Clover Spell, Epic Gnarls April 15th at the start of Echoes of Eco, Epic Mimic May 13th at the start of Perplexplore. And some of these work really well, with Tuskski coming at the start of Clover Spell, obviously with Clover Spell being Fairy's seasonal event, and Tuskski being on Fairy Island. Even Jarls with Echoes of Eco work well, because not only is Echoes of Eco kind of a plant-themed event, even though it's not on Plant Island, and Jarls being the plant top boss, but also Jarls initially released during Echoes of Eco as well. Then obviously Mimic with Perplexplore being Fire Oasis' seasonal event, and Mimic being on Fire Oasis as the only island for now. And I tried to make this release every 4 weeks, following one after the other, but some of them I did have to delay a week, and I think it could be a similar situation to Candelabra, where the Fire promotion, I think it was the Fire expansion monster promotion, it ran out, and we thought we would get Candelabra immediately after it ran out, but they made us wait a week so we could come during Feastember, and I think they could do a similar thing because of how well I talked about, especially these last 3 quints fitting their release dates. So I think we could see a couple delayed by a week, but I tried to follow that every 4-week schedule that aligns with the Fire expansion promotions. Next up, Epic Magicals, and this is a lot. I think we will see Epic Fluoresce on January 28th at the start of Crescendo Moon, and I understand it's odd to not predict a Sanctum exclusive magical monster, especially when we have so many to choose from for a Sanctum seasonal event, but I think it will be Epic Fluoresce, mainly because during the Jumpstart January sort of teaser bit that they gave us, they described the bio of a monster and how it thought it had its own voice to sing with, but then was exposed to strange energies, and it ended up being colorful or something like that. And basically, I just thought those would all really fit Fluoresce well, because being having thinking it had like its own voice to sing with, that fits with Fluoresce being partly vocal. Then being exposed to strange energies, I think that works really well, because we know that it's going to be the start of Crescendo Moon, which means it is likely Sanctum related. I think an exposure to strange energies on Sanctum makes sense, but being exposed to strange energies and that changing it wouldn't really make sense for a Sanctum native monster, but rather a monster that gets teleported to Sanctum, so that's why I thought it would be one of the single elements. And then when they talked about it being colorful, I thought that would just fit perfectly for Fluoresce. So it is a bit of an odd pick, but I do think we will see Epic Fluoresce on January 28th. Next up, Epic Frondly, February 18th, during the 3rd week of the Season of Love. And most of these dates, I'm just trying to space them out throughout the year, during times that we might not get other content. And I chose Frondly just because I think Sanctum, not getting one of its exclusive monsters to get the epic magical treatment during Crescendo Moon, I wanted to make up for it with Epic Frondly here. And I think Frondly is one of the most iconic Sanctum monsters, so I think it makes sense for it to be the first Sanctum exclusive epic, sorry. And because we know it was in that original wave with Zeester, Knucklehead, and Frondly, so I think it makes sense. Next up, Epic Clavinat on March 11th with the start of Cloverspell. I thought Cloverspell Fairy Island Epic makes sense. Then Epic Hollow April 22nd during the 2nd week of Echoes of Eco. Again, Echoes of Eco has a lot to do with trees. Epic Hollow is tree based, so I think we could see it having to do something with that. Also, notably, it's a Bone Island monster, and I tried to make these alternate elements between being light, psychic, fairy, bone, or a Sanctum exclusive. I tried to evenly space them out, and so that's why I chose a bone one for here. Next up, Epic Popette, May 13th at the start of Perplexplore. I just thought we could use a psychic element epic, thought that might work. Then Epic Zeester on June 10th during the 2nd week of Life Formula. I think this could work well because, again, Zeester, one of the most iconic Sanctum monsters, so I think it being one of the first Sanctum exclusive epics makes sense. And also, notably, it comes during Life Formula. Life Formula being an event that celebrates the Ethereals, and Zeester is actually partially linked to the Ethereals, with it being a relative to Gast, so maybe we could see its epic expand on that, maybe give us some more lore with that with its release in Life Formula. Then I think we will see Epic Tutu on June 24th at the start of Sky Painting. Obviously, Sky Painting being Light Island's event, Tutu being a light monster. And I think Tutu, with the way it's dressed up in a tutu and stuff, it could really fit into that sort of Sky Painting idea. Then Epic Flute Fly, I think, could release July 1st during the 2nd week of Sky Painting, because we actually did see Rare Flute Fly, I believe, at a similar time during Sky Painting a couple years ago, and so I think Epic Flute Fly might work here. It might even be connected to fireworks or something to fit thematically with the 4th of July, which Sky Painting also celebrates. Then I think July 15th we could get Epic Wither at the start of Summer Song, which is kind of a random one. Epic Theramind, I think we will get August 5th at the start of Mind Boggle. I think this one makes sense. Epic Theramind probably going to be one of the first Epic Psychic Element Magicals, because it's a single element, and I think it would be perfect if it comes during Psychic Island's seasonal event. Then Epic Bulbo on August 19th. This is kind of just to fill in a sort of content gap between Mind Boggle and Anniversary. Then I think we will see Epic G'day on September 16th during the third week of Anniversary. I think this is big because I think it's going to be the only one to release during Anniversary month, and I think G'day is a fan favorite monster, and I think a lot of people would be really excited if during Anniversary month we saw it get an Epic. So, Epic Whimsies, I think we can see October 21st during the second week of Spooktacle. Epic Pechidna, I think we'll see October 28th at the start of Beat Hereafter, and this one's notable because Pechidna infamously was one of the last rare magicals we got, and so I think it would be nice if MSM didn't make everyone and all the Pechidna fans wait so long this time, and they gave it to us somewhat early, at the start of this year's Beat Hereafter. Next up, Epic Kahoot on November 18th with the start of Feastember. Kinda just a random one, thought we needed another Sanctum magical. Then Epic Periscorp, November 25th, during the second week of Feastember. Again, just kind of choosing one here. And Epic Fiddlement on December 16th, in the second week of Festival of Yay. And I think Epic Fiddlement being sort of based on a light bulb like, and it coming during this Festival of Yay, I think maybe there could be something really cool with it being like a Christmas light. Or that just somewhat inspiring its design. So yeah, lots of epic magicals I think will release next year, and these are just my predictions for those. Then, you probably got a sneak peek of this, Epic Dream Mythicals. I think these ones are pretty set in stone that we will get Epic Sporo on February 11th during the second week of Season of Love, Epic Ping Hound on April 8th during the second week of Extravaganza, Epic Schlep on May 20th during the second week of Perplexplore, Epic Weasel on July 22nd during the second week of Summer Song, and Epic Catalyst on September 16th during the third week of Anniversary. And the reason I think these are mostly set in stone is because we have seen all of these epic dream mythicals like Bleatnik, Nerve, and Crunchy. They release on the second week of the seasonal event that their corresponding mythical originates from. So it's a lot of words, but basically it just means Epic Bleatnik, its corresponding mythical is Gajube, and Gijube comes from Plant Island. Plant Island celebrates Spooktacle, so it came during Spooktacle. Same sort of situation with Nerve and Crunchy, and I think for these other Dream Mythicals. Now for Catalyst, I think Catalyst would have made sense to be the first one, like with the rares, but because it wasn't the first, I think it will be last, and I think it could be a cool ending to the sort of mythical, dream mythical saga of variants. So that's why I think Anniversary Month would be a nice time to sort of finish off that class. Next up, we got Epic Wubblins, and these ones I really don't know because we haven't gotten super consistent release dates for them, but just kind of going off of how often they released last year, and I think it was interesting. They seem to skip seasonal events sometimes, like, or maybe every other seasonal event, but I don't know. But they always come at the start of a seasonal event. That's something I noticed. But really not much to work with here, so I just randomly predicted these as Epic Bon Appetit on February 4th to begin Season of Love. I think this one could make sense because Bon Appetit, we know, if you listen to the scrapped Air Island song from Furcorn Jelly Dreams, you can actually hear Bon Appetit's sounds because I think Bon Appetit might have been an early draft for Rebro, something along those lines. But anyways, it has this tie to Air Island, so I think we could see it with the Season of Love. Then Epic Mulch on April 1st at the start of Extravaganza, Epic Wajay on June 3rd at the start of Life Formula, Epic Astropod August 5th at the start of Mindboggle, and for this one we know Astropod has those sort of electric lights, and maybe with Mindboggle being Psychic Island seasonal event, we could see Epic Astropod maybe have more psychedelic sort of ideas around it, and I think that could really be expanded upon in the animations. I think the animations for Epic Astropod could be sick. Then Epic Screamoo, October 14th at the start of Spooktacle. I thought this one made a lot of sense with Screamoo being, in my opinion, one of the creepier Wubblins. And I think it releasing during Spooktacle and just leaning even more into that spooky idea, I think it could be really cool to see that. Oops. And then Epic Creepuscule, I think could come December 9th at the start of Festival of Yay. So again, a lot of these just kind of random, but that's how I think they're going to release. Next up, bonus releases, because I don't think the continuation of the current stuff will be the only thing we see next year. I think we will get bonus things that aren't currently releasing. And the first of those is Epic Ethereals on Islets. I think we will see that June 3rd at the start of Life Formula. I mean, it makes sense. It's Ethereal Islets. Life Formula is Ethereal Islands seasonal event. Has to do all about Ethereals. And maybe they make us wait until anniversary, but honestly, I don't think so. So I think we will see another upgrade to the Disharmonizer in order to get an epic-ified Disharmonizer. And then we will see these epic ethereals become available on the ethereal islets. Then I think we will see the dawn of Fire Hex this year. And whether that's Wubbox or not, I don't think it's going to be Wubbox. I know that the monster handlers and some other people like to say that Wubbox is the Hex. I think maybe symbolically it might represent a culmination of all the elements, but I just don't really think it fits, because when you have Dawn of Fire releasing and it has 6 different single elementals, then it is implying that, oh my gosh, in the future of this island, the end game is that we are going to see all 6 of these elements combined into one monster, and it's going to be like a huge climactic finale to the continent, which we've seen growing for, what, over 10 years now? Yeah, because Dawn of Fire's 10th anniversary was last year, and so I think for the 11th anniversary on September 1st, we could see that. And I just think it would be, in my opinion, disappointing if it was just Wubbox. But we know the monster handlers have lied to us before. They told us we weren't getting an ethereal Quint, and then boom, we got Bamebeth. And I just think it would be really weird, because at the time Dawn of Fire released, Wubbox was already a thing. And so it feels weird for, like, the hex element that's building up towards to have already released years prior. It just, I don't know, in my opinion, doesn't sit right with me, which is why I think we're going to get a unique monster that actually has all these elements, be the Hex, and again, I think we're going to get that September 1st, which notably, it is a Tuesday, and is the day before the Anniversary Month event officially starts, but it'll be September 1st, so really, the month will have already begun, just not the event, and I don't think Dawn of Fire has an issue with releasing updates on Tuesday. I believe that is what we saw with Wanderer Island. So, I think this could be a really cool way to kick off Anniversary Month. Then, I think we will see the Dawn of Fire Hex only come to Continent on that date, and I think we will slowly see it come to the Outer Islands, and I think we will see it come to Cave Island on October 28th at the start of Beat Hereafter. And so you can probably predict what my predictions are here, where I think whatever outer island, the magical island it corresponds to, whenever that island celebrates a seasonal event, I think that's when we will see the Hex travel to that island. Now, also relating to Dawn of Fire, I think we will see Dawn of Fire on Steam this year. And I included this picture of this mistake they made in the short where they said Dawn of Fire was available on Steam. I don't think this was like a leak or like accidental leak or anything. I think it was just a mistake, but I think it's funny because I think Dawn of Fire will come to Steam this year, and I also think this will be September 1st on the Tuesday, the day before Anniversary Month, because it's Dawn of Fire's 11th anniversary, super big event for them. I say them like it's a person, but super big event for Dawn of Fire, and I really think it's about due time we see it on Steam. So I think this would be a perfect opportunity to release it. Next up, Mirror Fire Islands. We can see here with the costs for Mirror Islands, it costs 400 for Mirror Water Island, 500 for Earth Island, and it's going by hundreds, but it skips 600 to go straight to 700 for Mirror Light and then 800 for Mirror Psychic. And I think it's weird that it skips 600 right where the Fire Islands would fit in between the Naturals and the Magicals. And so that's why I think we will get Mirror Fire Islands that each cost 600 diamonds on November 18th at the start of Feastember, because it just makes sense. Feastember is the fire-focused event. It's obviously the Fire Havens event, and so I think we will see both Mirror Fire Islands released then. Then, Ethereals and Dawn of Fire. I think we will see a new island for young Ethereals on September 23rd during the 4th week of Anniversary Month, which is also notably the day of Dawn of Fire's 11th anniversary. And so that's why I think we could see something this big, because it's going to be a big day. On the exact date, we're going to get a Wednesday. And I think alongside that new island, we're going to get Young Gast, Grumpire, Rero, Geode, and Humbug on there. And notably, these designs are by Nova MSM. I did not make these. Nova MSM does amazing things. You should totally go check them out if you haven't already. And then I think we will see a weekly release, hopefully, of Ethereal hybrids after that, at least for the doubles and triples. And so I think we'll see Young Wisp on September 30th, Young Nebulob on October 11th, Araculele on the 14th, Voodoo on the 21st, Socks on the 28th, Kazillion on the 4th, Bellafish on November 11th, Dragon on the 18th, Jelbelly on the 25th, Fungprey on December 2nd, Meebkin December 9th, Yuri December 16th, Blair December 23rd, and Gadzooks December 30th. I think seeing a wave island like this with such consistent releases too is something that we've really missed. I know we have Paranormal Carnivore right now that's technically a wave island, but I think the waves are so far between. And then before this, we also had Ethereal Workshop, which again, waves are so far between. And I think it would be really cool to get another one that is weekly or bi-weekly, like Sanctum or Light Island was. And I think these Ethereals could do that, because there are so many to get through, so they'll probably not want to wait too long between releasing them. Then I think we will see Ethereal Gold Island, and this art actually was done by me this time. You can see my rendition of Ethereal Gold Island, and I think this will come on September 30th, which is the 5th week of anniversary, and notably the sort of finale to anniversary. And I think this will be a really big thing. It'll be the return of Bemebeth, and we've sort of seen a second Ethereal saga over these past 3 years, ever since the release of Workshop. And then we've seen these islets, and I know some people are getting tired of Ethereals. I'm not. I love the Ethereals. But again, the Ethereals have been in the spotlight for quite a while now, and so I think it won't just end with Poison Islet. I think they will get a big climactic finale at the end of Anniversary Month with Ethereal Gold Island. Next up, I do think we will see Elder Celestials come to Celestial Island this year. We had the adult Celestials finish in 2023, I believe. And so we thought maybe in 2023 we would get, because July 2023 was when Adult Galvana came out, I believe. And so we thought maybe in August we would see the Elders. Nope. Okay, well, maybe next year. Nope. Maybe next year. Nope. And I might be getting my dates wrong. I might have said we waited one more year than we actually did. But either way, we haven't seen these Elder Celestials on Celestial Island yet. We've been waiting for them, and I think they're finally going to do them in 2026, with Elder Scaritar being the first on July 29th, during the 3rd week of Summer Song. And I know this doesn't make a lot of sense. The whole point of Celestials is that they correspond with every month, and only they release on the 1st of the month. Well, with Scaritar, we have seen in the past that it can break that rule a little bit. Adult Scaritar released on August 2nd to align with a Wednesday, which is the big update days for MSM. And then even originally, when Scaritar first came to Starhenge and Dawn of Fire, I believe it came towards the end of July as well, on July 27th, 28-ish. And so we know that Scaritar doesn't strictly follow those rules because it wants to align with the update days. And so I think Elder Scaritar coming on July 29th, which is a Wednesday, I think that makes sense for an update this big to sort of kick off the Elder Celestials. And again, this is the 3rd week of Summer Song. And again, Summer Song is tied to Earth Island. Earth Island has the poison element. It corresponds to poison, so I think it is pretty fitting. Then, I think the rest won't be as complicated. I think we will just see Elder Ludwig September 1st, Elder Tord October 1st, Elder Plixie November 1st, and Elder Atmos December 1st. Then Fire Seasonals on Amber Island. I think we will see Gobbly and Sparrow on Amber Island on April 15th at the start of Echoes of Eco. And this next slide kind of ties in with that. I think we will see Magical Seasonals on Nexus, with Fiddle on March 11th at the start of Cloverspell, Whizbang on June 24th at the start of Sky Painting, Bookworm August 5th at the start of Mindboggle, Clavavira October 28th at the start of Beat Hereafter. And I think this would be perfect because we know that the seasonals that inhabit the natural islands, they get to go to Gold Island, and so I don't see why Gobbly, Spirit, and these magical seasonals can't go to their respective classes' Gold Islands equivalents too. And I think it would also be perfect because it would make it so that every seasonal pretty much goes to 3 islands at least. That being Shanty, the island they celebrate their seasonal event on, as their second one, and then the third one, with these being the third one as Nexus, and these being the third one as Amber Island. Because when you think about it, you got the 5 natural island seasonals. There are 15 seasonals total. 5 natural island seasonals also go to Gold Island, so then that's just 10 remaining. Then you take care of these 6. That's only 4 remaining, and those 4 remaining, one of them is Caralong, which I don't think will be coming during this Crescendo Moon, because we don't even have the Sanctum Magicals there yet. I think that's a 2027 thing. I think that's when we'll see Caralong to Nexus. And then Monculus and Vivane, they're already on 2 other islands than Shanty. That was being Amber and Sugarbush for Vivane, and Ethereal and Wublin for Monculus. And then that would just leave Jamboree as the only one on only 2 islands, which I think makes sense thematically for Jamboree. But I just think this would be nice to see these seasonals again, and I think it would make sense. So, now we got the overall timeline for 2026. So, in January, I think we will see on January 5th, the Festival of Yay ends. January 14th, we see Epic Bowhead and the Control Ruin Depths Paranormal. January 28th, Crescendo Moon begins. And then alongside that, we get Rare Flask, Epic Fluoresce, and the Fairy Titan Soul. Then in February, on February 4th, we'll see the Season of Love begin. Alongside that, we'll see the Air Island CG5 Legendary, Schmoochelon on Wanderer Island, and Epic Bon Appetit. Then on February 9th, Crescendo Moon will end. February 11th, we get Epic Dromedary and Epic Sporo. February 18th, we get Epic Frondly. February 23rd, the Season of Love ends. And then February 25th, the Ruin Depths Paranormal. Moving on to March. March 4th, I think we'll see Hehehe on Wanderer. March 11th, Clover Spell will begin. Also March 11th, Fiddle on Nexus, Epic Tusky, and Epic Flute Fly. Sorry, that's supposed to say Epic Clavinat. Then March 18th, Rare Piplash. And then March 23rd, Clover Spell ends. Moving on to April. April 1st, I think we'll see Extravaganza begin. And alongside that, I think we will see Crystal Islet, Drowa, the Water Island Legendary, Blabadon Wanderer, the Control Hoax, Deaths Paranormal, and Epic Mulch. And I know that seems like a lot for one day, but that's exactly what we saw for the Festival of EA in 2025, where we had an Ethereal Island Primordial, a Legendary on the Natural Island, the Seasonal on Wanderer, a new Paranormal, and an Epic Wublin. So I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that we can get that for Extravaganza 2. Then April 8th, I think we'll get Epic Pinghound. April 15th, Echoes of Eco will begin, and alongside that we'll get Epic Gnarls and Gobblegord and Spirit on Amber Island. Then April 20th, Extravaganza ends. April 22nd, we get Epic Hollow, and April 27th, Echoes of Eco ends. Moving on to May, I think on the 6th, we'll get Trouble on Wanderer. On the 13th, Perplexplore will begin, and alongside that, we'll get Epic Mimic, the Control Ruin Paranormal, and Epic Popette. Then on May 20th, I think we'll get Epic Schlep and Rare Excerpt, and on the 25th, Perplexplore will end. Moving on to June, I think on the 3rd, Life Formula will begin, and we will get Epic Ethereals on Islets and Epic Waje. Then June 10th, we get Epic Zeester. June 15th, Life Formula ends. June 17th, we get the Hoax Ruin Depths Paranormal. June 24th, Sky Painting begins, and we get Whizbang on Nexus and Epic Tutu. Then moving on to July, I think on July 1st, that's when we'll get Epic Flute Fly, not in Clover Spell. And then July 6th, Sky Painting will end. July 15th, Summer Song will begin. And then we will also get the Earth Island Legendary, Hula on Wanderer Island, and Epic Wither. Then on July 22nd, we will get Epic Weasel and the Hoax Deaths Paranormal. And then on July 29th, we will get Poison Islet, Tuna 4, Elder Scartar, and Rare Teeter Totter. And here is what I was talking about how these might make more sense later on. Because Poison Islet, Tuna 4, Elder Scartar, Rare Teeter Totter, 3 of these have to do with poison, Tuna 4 has to do with Earth Element, so I think releasing during Summer Song is very fitting for reasons we've previously discussed. Then also, July 29th, it is close to August, which would be Elder Scartar's month and the Poison's Mark constellation. And so I think this could really just be thematic for the poison and earth elements, and I think these things could really tie together well, especially with Poison Islet and the Poison Celestial having something huge on the same day. Then moving on to August, I think on the 3rd, Summer Song will end. On the 5th, Mind Boggle will begin. Also on the 5th, we will get Bookworm on Nexus, Epic Astropod, and Epic Theramind. August 12th, we will get Anglo on Wanderer. August 17th, Mind Boggle will end. On the 19th, we'll get Epic Bulbo. And on the 26th, we will see the anniversary month sales begin, but not the official event being kicked off. Now, September, anniversary month. I think on the 1st, we will see Elder Ludwig and the Dawn of Fire Steam release and the Dawn of Fire Hex coming to the continent. Then September 2nd, we see the official anniversary month kickoff with the Paranormal Quad. Then September 9th, I think we'll see the Bone Titan Soul. September 16th, I think we'll see Epic Catalyst and Epic G'day. September 23rd, a new Dawn of Fire Island for Ethereals, plus Young Ghast, Grumpy, Rebro, Geode, and Humbug. And September 30th, for the finale, Ethereal Gold Island and Young Wisp. And you'll notice I try to space out releases over anniversary month so that every week we get something new. And you can see for the 2nd, it's that quad, and then also the Dawn of Fire stuff. Then the next week is the Bone Titan Soul, and then it is some variants. And it is 2 variants to make up for variants not being as big as new content. And then the 23rd, new Dawn of Fire Island, 30th, Ethereal Gold Island. And notably, a big reason I chose to think that Ethereals were the next Dawn of Fire thing is because I think it could align really well with Ethereal Gold Island. And it could really just be an Ethereal-based sort of finale to Anniversary Month. Honestly, maybe these even release on the same day, who knows. Then moving on to October, I think on October 1st we see Elder Turret. October 5th, Anniversary Month officially ends. On the 7th we get Young Nebulob. On the 14th, Spooktical begins. Then alongside that we get Rare Whale, Epic Screamo, and Young Araculele. And I think this also is very fitting with Araculele being a spider, spiders having a lot to do with Halloween, and Spooktical is MSM Halloween. So I think that's perfect. Also perfect is Young Voodoo coming alongside Epic Whimsies on October 21st. Because again, Voodoo is very spooky. Then, October 28th, the Beat Hereafter begins, and alongside that, we see the Dawn of Fire Hex on Cave Island, Clavavira on Nexus, Epic Pekina, and Young Socks. November, I think on the 1st, we'll see Elder Plixie. On the 2nd, we'll see Spooktical end. Then on the 4th, we'll get Young Kazillion. The 9th, Beat Hereafter ends. 11th, Young Bellofish. 18th, Feast Number begins. Also on the 18th, we get Mirror Fire Islands, Epic Kahoot, and Young Dragong. The 25th, we get Epic Periscorp and Young Jellybilly. And on November 30th, Feast Number ends. And finally, for December 2026, I think on the 1st, we'll see Elder Atmos. On the 2nd, we'll see Young Feng Prey. On the 9th, we'll see the Festival VA begin. And all alongside that, we'll see Rare Pentumber, Epic Creeper Skull, and Young Meebkin. On the 16th, we'll see Epic Fiddlement and Young Eureka. 23rd, we'll see Young Blairit. 30th, we'll see Young Gadzooks. So, are these predictions correct? No. 99% chance, no. They're not correct. Most Wanderer monsters and Epic Dream Mythicals are all almost 100% releasing when I predicted, so I'm very confident on these ones. The Ethereal Islets, some Wanderer monsters, Paranormals, Titan Souls, Rare Workshoppers, and Epic Firequints, they are all practically confirmed to release this year, but not necessarily for my predicted dates. Then the Natural Island Legendaries, Epic Ethereals on Islets, Dawn of Fire Hex, Dawn of Fire on Steam, Mirror Fire Islands, Ethereal Gold Island, Elder Celestials, Fire Seasonals on Amber, and Magical Seasonals on Nexus. They're not really confirmed, but I think they're released this year during those dates. And then the Epic Magical and Epic Wublin release order and dates, though they had much thought put into them, they're mostly shots in the dark that almost certainly won't appear in that order or on those dates. So, importantly, I want to address the next eras of these games, because I think 2026 is going to be a big year with a lot of things wrapping up for them. Because with most new non-variant content wrapping up in Anniversary Month, it does beg the question of what the next new era of releases will be. So for MSM, I think that we will see an entirely new content following the Ethereal and Paranormal sagas that conclude an Anniversary. And I do think they'll take a little break, but that we'll probably see what the next big thing is in Festival of VA or Season of Love. And notably, I don't think we'll get Primordial Island. I don't think it's going to be Primordial based. I think they're just going to be one-off things for the Ethereal Islets. because I don't think it makes sense to get hybrids for that and like a whole new class which elements are practically the same as the naturals. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just don't see it happening, but it might. Who knows? Now for Dawn of Fire, after the Wanderer releases wrap up in August, we'll almost certainly see the start of the next new thing on the exact date of Dawn of Fire's 11th anniversary on September 23rd, which again happens to fall on a Wednesday. Now, in my predictions, I believe that this would involve Ethereals, but honestly, I'm not super confident in that prediction, and I mainly just said that because I really don't know what else they'll do next, and it could very well be something entirely new and unique, or maybe some more outer islands, but either way, I think we will see a new era for Dawn of Fire. At the end of the day, these are all just fun predictions of what we might be able to expect from this next year of monstering. I doubt we'll get everything I predicted, and I'm certain we'll get things I didn't predict. I just wanted to make sure to share my general expectations, and I think it'll be cool to look back at the end of the year and see how correct or wrong I was. And it's funny because at the time I'm recording this, it's actually January 19th. I did finish these predictions before the new year, and you can see I didn't change them despite some of them already being wrong. I never predicted a new Wordo on Firehaven, and I didn't predict Epic Dermot at all this year, let alone any Epic Wublin coming on January 14th. But again, I've already been proved wrong. Still wanted to put this out for what my original predictions were, because I thought it would be fun. So, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you have any thoughts on my predictions or any of yours to add, comment below and I'll do my best to respond. There's a 99% chance I will respond to 80 comments, given that this video doesn't randomly go viral and get like 1,000. So please like, subscribe, and share if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.